unequal application of the law or rules for some people and different set of rules for other people is something that I've decried on more than one occasion on this channel. And this past week, that different rules for different people sort of situation resulted in very tragic consequences. So today on Don't Talk TV, I'm going to take a look at the fatal shooting of Halyna Hutchins. Hello, my name is Nicholas Wansbetter. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. Many viewers may have heard about the tragedy last week where the well-known actor Alec Baldwin accidentally, quote-unquote, shot to death the cinematographer on a film that he was working on, Halyna Hutchins, and wounded the director of the film who was standing behind her. So today on Don't Talk TV, I want to take a look at what we know of the circumstances of that from what's presented in the news, and give you a few of my thoughts from the perspective of a criminal lawyer and a firearms enthusiast. As I said in the preamble, in my view, a big piece of what happened here was different rules being applied to different people. A Hollywood actor not being held to the same standards of safety that are expected of lawful firearms owners. Especially a Hollywood actor who's well known for his very left-leaning liberal political views and his anti-firearm views. A person who essentially thinks no one should be allowed to own firearms and has stated that publicly, yet hypocritically uses them frequently in his films and apparently without following the universal rules of firearm safety that are required of everyone else. So let's take a look at the news story first. This story has been reported a number of places. I'm just taking a CBC article here entitled, "Alec Baldwin Didn't Know Weapon Had Live Round Before Fatally Shooting Cinematographer," warrant says. So here at the opening paragraphs here, this lays out the situation as far as we know it. So as a film crew and actors in Western garb prepared to rehearse a scene inside a wooden chapel-like building on a desert movie ranch outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, assistant director Dave Hall stepped outside and grabbed a prop gun off of a cart. He walked back in and handed it to the film's star, Alec Baldwin, assuring him it was safe to use because it didn't have live ammo. "Cold gun," Halls yelled. It wasn't, according to court records made public Friday. Instead, when Baldwin pulled the trigger Thursday, he killed cinematographer Halyna Hutchins and wounded director Joel Souza, who was standing behind her. Also wanted to take a quick look at the Facebook post made by one of the people who was there, Serge Svetnoy. Now, he made some commentary on what he thought was at fault here. He said, "It's the fault of negligence and unprofessionalism. The negligence from the person who was supposed to check the weapon on the site and did not do this. The person who had to announce that the loaded gun was on the site did not do this. The person who should have checked the weapon before bringing it to the set did not do it, and the death of the human is the result." Now, what Mr. Svetnoy leaves out is the negligence on the part of the person handling the firearm and their failure to check whether it was safe, that being Mr. Baldwin. So, as I said, there's a universal set of principles of firearm safety that all firearms owners are expected to follow. And rule number one of the universal rules of firearm safety is treat every firearm as if it's loaded. You always check the chamber of the firearm when it's handed to you or you pick it up to ensure that it doesn't have a live round sitting in it. It doesn't matter whether you just saw the person check it before handing it to you or you saw them unload it before handing it to you. You always check. And if Mr. Baldwin followed the most basic of the rules of firearm safety, this tragedy would not have occurred. That leaves out the question of what on earth were live rounds even doing on this movie set, but again, that's why these basic rules of firearm safety are what they are. They're based on experience. And as I say, everyone who, certainly in Canada, those who, in order to get a possession acquisition license, you have to take a firearm safety course where you would learn these principles of safety and you're expected to follow them. What happens if the average person violates these principles of safety? Well, the most obvious consequence would be a charge under Section 86 of the Criminal Code of Canada. Section 86 sub 1 reads, "Every person commits an offense who, without lawful excuse, uses, carries, handles, ships, transports, or stores a firearm, a prohibited weapon, a restricted weapon, a prohibited device, or any ammunition or prohibited ammunition in a careless manner or without reasonable precautions for the safety of others." In my respectful view, failing to follow the first and most basic rule of firearm safety is clearly failing to take reasonable precautions and is careless. If Mr. Baldwin weren't a very famous Hollywood actor who's very openly displayed left-of-center political views, including very strong anti-firearms views, I pretty much can guarantee you that he would have been charged by now. Maybe he will be, remains to be seen, although unfortunately I doubt that he'll be charged because of that trend of different rules for different people. And we've seen this in previous episodes of Don't Talk TV, where if you have the right politics, things that are a crime for other individuals is not a crime for you, whereas if you have the wrong politics, now these things are a crime. So in my view, everyone should have the same rules, the same laws applied to them, and always, always, always be safe with the use of firearms, regardless of who you are, and always follow the first rule, treating every firearm as if it's loaded, and if it's not supposed to be loaded, ensuring that it isn't. This video is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, contact a lawyer. You can call another lawyer or myself. My 1-855 number and website are listed below, although as of the filming of this episode on the 27th of October 2021, I'm currently not able to take on any new clients, but hopefully we'll be able to do so again in the not too distant future. If you have topics you'd like to see me cover on this channel, please leave a comment in the comment section below or send an email to the email address listed. And if you found this video at all interesting, helpful, or informative, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and following us on social media.